So let's welcome in now Pastor James Ward. He joins us. He's the pastor at the Insight Church near Chicago. Great to see you, Pastor.
Thank you so much, John, for having me. It's good to be with you.
When you look at this video, tell us what you see.
Yeah, well, first of all, John, my heart goes out to the pastor of that church. Every pastor is a shepherd. Our vocation is shepherding, and we care for the flock of God. And Jesus talked often about what happens when you attack the sheep, when you attack the people that we're entrusted with. And Jesus gave an analogy that in John chapter 10, he says that the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And so any pastor has a heart to protect those who gather in the sacred space. Let's face it, the last institution of decency, the last institution of spiritual and moral law, goodness and kindness in our nation is the church. It just shows that we've crossed the line in terms of our nation becoming completely anti-Christ, completely sacrilegious. And this is something that we should raise the alarm to the highest level to see that these boundaries are now being crossed and encroachments are being made in the house of God.
Neither one of us are lawyers, but I don't think you have to be, Pastor Ward, to understand that what Don Lemon was doing was irresponsible and wrong.
Absolutely irresponsible, and I believe that this needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. John, a precedent is being set. An example was set yesterday in terms of challenging the sacred space of the church and the rule of law in America. And if we don't deal with this the right way, I believe it's going to send a signal to other agitators and protesters to do similar things across the nation. I hope that President Trump and his administration will come down swiftly, immediately, and heavily to declare that there's a zero tolerance policy in America for putting people who are in houses of worship, not just churches, mosques, synagogues, any house of worship, by putting those people in jeopardy and understanding that they're vulnerable when they're expressing their faith. This needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I'll say this, the whole idea with Don Lemon, it shows the subjective morality of social justice, which is completely different than biblical justice. It's right as long as they believe it's right. And he threw out the First Amendment. And John, you and I know that when you talk about freedom of speech doesn't mean that you are free to say whatever you want to say. It's contingent upon time, location, and place. And the analogy that we use is I have the freedom of speech to shout fire, to shout that there's some kind of emergency, but I cannot go into an elementary school and shout fire. That's not protecting my freedom of speech to put children in harm or to declare that there's a bomb threat. We need to get this right, and a precedent is being set in our nation right now.
We learned about the importance of non-violent civil disobedience from Dr. King and watched him and so many others bravely stand peacefully in the way of what was going on. And this is not that. This is the farthest thing from that.
Yeah, one of the things we have to thank Dr. King for, and we honor his legacy in America because of nonviolent protests in America. You know, Jesus said that in the last days, in Matthew 24, John, Jesus said that lawlessness will abound. An antichrist ideology, an anti-God ideology always leads to lawlessness and anarchy. We're seeing that in the United States of America. And here we are celebrating Dr. King's legacy and the fact that he promoted nonviolent protests. As a Christian Black American pastor, I'm able to call out, and I want to call out victimization. This is all victimization and victim thinking that has begun to infect our nation that makes it possible for these kinds of things to take place. One of my favorite authors is a guy by the name of Viktor Frankl. When I write about zero victim thinking, and I talk about that in my book, Zero Victim, but Viktor Frankl made this statement. He said, we not only need a statue of liberty in America, he said we need a statue of responsibility in America. And you're seeing the irresponsibility of people who are not being held accountable for the rule of law, you know, really manipulating freedom in America to do things that absolutely should not be done.
So well put. And I think it would be nice to have a statue of responsibility as well in this country. In the meantime, we have you, Pastor Ward, and we have your Instagram feed, and you inspire me almost on a daily basis. I encourage people to follow Pastor James Ward, and you will learn a lot, and you will be uplifted and have a little hope in humanity as well. That's what you do for me, Pastor Ward. Always a pleasure to have you and talk to you, and it's great to know you.
Thank you, my friend. It's always an honor to be with you, and I'm so grateful for having me. Thanks for the great work that you're doing.
Thank you, and we'll have you back real soon. Take care.